I am here with Miss Kinea Epps, who is a middle school counselor at Heritage Middle School in Wake Forest, North Carolina, and a graduate of North Carolina Central University's school counseling program. Miss Epps is also the public relations co-chair for the North Carolina School Counseling Association.
That's right.
It's good to have you here with us, Miss
Thank you.
Epps.
Good to be here.
Thank you for taking this time with us. You've got a lot of students, I know, there that you work with at Wake Forest. Tell me a bit about how a parent could get the most out of a school counselor they're working with.
Okay. Well, I think it's important that parents know that school counselors are eager to work with them as collaborative partners. School counselors are there to provide resources for parents. They're there to help students if they're having difficulties in any academic classes that they may have. School counselors can be a valuable resource for the parents. We can work with parents to find out if there's any additional tutoring information they may need, how they can better help their child be successful. It's also important that parents understand that they can utilize a school counselor for any personal social issues. As children are developing, they're changing, and sometimes it's difficult for parents to understand all those changes that their child may be experiencing. And so the school counselor is there to work with the students and the parents to get through those challenging times, because we all are there for the same goal, and that is the academic success of our students.
Wow, so really there's a lot of things school counselors can do to help parents.
Absolutely.
Educationally and socially.
Absolutely.
You talked about tutoring and so forth and helping them along with that. What kinds of things do you notice or you see that maybe parents could do even at home to help their children out a little bit better?
Okay. Well, I think it's important to know the various class assignments that your child may have. One way that parents can know that information, a lot of schools have that information on their school website, so parents can visit the school's website and find out what their child is learning in class. Many schools utilize agendas for students, and students are able to write down their homework assignments. And so if parents find that there's something that they're not understanding or not sure how to help their child, they certainly can reach out to the school counselor, and they can also reach out to the teachers to be able to provide additional resources so that they can help their child at home when they're going through homework.
So it sounds like parental monitoring is pretty important.
Absolutely.
Like checking out those agendas and following up maybe a bit on the website, seeing what kinds of things are required. And that kind of helps, like in middle school where you're at. You're going from elementary to middle and then eventually to high school. Kind of gives them some needed structure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's something they can do. What about at home? What kinds of things might a parent do at home to help a child as far as from an educational standpoint that would be more helpful for them, like getting ready for school tomorrow and so forth?
Well, I think that what parents can do, it's important to try to keep your child on a schedule. The child is used to following a schedule throughout the day in school, so it would be important to continue that to the best, that the parent can at home, making sure that the child has a place to do their homework. Also, it's important if the child is going to have, for example, a spelling test the next day, helping the child go over some of the words, even throughout the week before the test, and reviewing some of those words with the student, or also doing practice problems in math with the student. And reading is certainly definitely crucial. So if parents can have a set time for their child to read a little bit each day, even sometimes beyond what may be certainly required, I think those are good tips that parents can use at home.
So they can reinforce and they can help out with the homework, and it sounds like they also want them to even read more than they're doing at school. So that's real helpful to their academic success, it seems.
Absolutely.
Now, you had mentioned earlier you as school counselors are a resource for parents for social needs as well. And as you think about the various social needs, what are some things that especially come to mind that, like middle school students, for example, are dealing with?
Well, middle school is such a unique age. Students are trying to balance, their independence alongside of, figuring out who they are and who they are, against their peers. And so they're really trying to find definitely their place, and that can be definitely challenging. So I think the parents, certainly if you notice or your child, you can reach out to the school counselor. We're there to provide individual counseling for students to find out if there's an issue that we need to discuss with them, and also issues issue that maybe we need to let parents know about. And sometimes the issues, can resonate even at home. And so if there's a difficult situation going on at home, perhaps maybe a divorce, if there's a grief or loss type of situation, then let the school counselor know, and they can be a valuable resource for the parent and certainly for the student.
So that's what you mean by being a partner. So
Absolutely.
if there's something happening at home, make the school counselor aware of it, and you guys can kind of work together to try to help that out and address that issue.
Absolutely.
And are there common problems that kind of arise often in middle school, some common social problems that you are encountering as a school counselor?
I think a lot of the common issues that you see in middle school are certainly revolving friendships as students are figuring out. Really, in middle school is a critical time for them to learn, what kind of qualities and characteristics they want in friends, and also what kind of characteristics they have that make them a good friend. And so those are things that they certainly, struggle with sometimes in that fine balance. In middle school, sometimes, we're friends today and we're not friends tomorrow, and so that can be difficult too. But we want to make sure that we're working with students because, sometimes those issues may seem like they're small, certainly to adults, but those are things that kids really think about. And so we want to make sure that, parents, if they're noticing, trouble with friendship issues, that they let their child know that they can come to the school counselor to talk about those issues, because we want to make sure that we're helping kids resolve any issue that's going to impede their academic success.
So friends are a big deal.
Absolutely.
And sounds like you guys are talking a lot about that. What
That's
to
right.
look for in a friend and how to be a good friend.
That's right.
And I suppose parents could reinforce that as well.
Absolutely. Well, one important thing is certainly encouraging your child, if they do have an issue, to come and talk to the school counselor, because I think a visible and viable school counselor in a school counseling program really sets the foundation for students being open to receiving help. And that's a lifelong lesson that I think it's important to learn, that it's okay if you need help, because there are resources out there and there are people out there who do want to help. That's right.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Miss Epps.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking this time to be with us today.
Great. Thank you for having me.